The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
Hello and welcome to another Video Games to the Max. This is episode, I hope I'm on the right one, 140. And we are the official 401 Games Zone podcast and also the official 401 Games podcast of W2Mnet.com. Yes, we have our own website. So that was sort of the big announcement that we were going to announced that the last time we were going to do one of these shows and stuff happens. So it's been around for like a month now. There's more football and wrestling stuff on it than games at the moment, but we're a crew of like 12 people right now. So trying to get a bunch of things posted with 12 people is sometimes not the easiest thing, but Tokyo Game Show is also going on right now. They still got 2 days of that left. They have announced some things. We'll talk about some of that, but there's been other stuff that's happened that doesn't really have to do with TGS at all. But of course, I am your host, Sean Garber, and with me, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
So, Marc, you've been playing some stuff. You also got Bioshock Collection to review.
Yep.
You finished WoW.
Well, as much as one can.
Yeah, as much as one can. Any sort of like final thoughts on it or anything that...
I still liked it. Like, I thought the expansion was pretty good. It's just too much of a time sink. Like, just the timers for, like, complete the guild upgrade haul in 10 days is just not fun to wait around for. And I beat the world boss, though, that Kazimuth guy that they, like, figured out how to spawn on, like, last week. So that was really cool. And that was a hard process to actually do.
You were telling me that there's this thing with eggs that you have to, like, wait on?
There were orbs on the new island, or, like, the new world continent map, Broken Isles, and there's 10 of them. And you have to click them all in a precise order. And they're all hidden, like, pretty well hidden, actually. But it's a matter of, like, finding them and like, they were also on a 30-minute to hour timer.
Okay.
So the minute someone clicked on it, you had to wait 30 minutes, if not more. And that was a problem. Because the second one, I was there waiting for 25 minutes, and this guy ran up, and in 5 minutes, he clicked on it before me, like I did. And it's like, you fucker. But the problem was the 6th orb. It's in this underwater cave. And it was the most maddening thing to get. Because there were a bunch of steam vents in the cave that would basically kill you in one hit. And the cave was like cross-realm or cross-server. So there were other people spawning in the cave that like weren't on your server. And it was like a minefield of like Horde versus Alliance players, and there were at least 10 people in that cave, like, at any given time, waiting for that orb to, like, spawn. So, that was not fun to get.
It's like you had to just basically walk around hoping somebody else wouldn't grab it while you're...
Well, the way I eventually did it is I saw that they were going to have server maintenance on last Tuesday. So, and it was like, the server will be down from 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. I was like, great. Set my alarm for 9:30, got up. The server was already up at that point, but I spawned in that cave, and no one was there, and the orb was active, so I was like, click, then run away.
It's like, hurry, run.
Yeah, I actually got, that was a 6th orb, and I got all 10, I got the remaining 4 orbs in like an hour. because the server was just barely up, so no one was around, and it was awesome. And it reminded me of what I always think about WoW is WoW would be a much better single player game.
Sadly, they never gave you one of those again.
Well, not without hosting a private server, and I've done that a few times. That's fun.
Well, but how is it different with no people there?
Well, you can just put on God mode and just spawn enemies into towns, and it's just fun to mess around with.
Ah, okay.
You can fly around we're not supposed to, and spawn items in, and I like it a lot.
Don't those things get shut down eventually?
Yeah, well, they're hosting 50,000 player servers. I'm just doing this by myself. It's not even online. Or when I was doing it, it wasn't even online. So it's I was literally just hosting a server on my computer and playing WoW on my computer. So.
Nice.
The other two big games I'll talk about is Overwatch or Bioshock. Pick which one.
Yeah, so you did the Overwatch demo on PS4, right?
Yeah.
So how was your experience with Overwatch?
I can see the appeal to the game. It's a very fun team-based shooter. I think there are too many characters in that game. Because there are basically 4 classes of characters, soldier, or damage, tank, DPS, and healer. But there are 5 characters per class, and you just lose track of which character you like to play as. I went through the training mode, just player versus bots essentially, or just turrets really, with every character, and within half an hour, or within, I was not even done with half the characters, and the training mission ended because I was it lasted too long, and I'm just there's something wrong here. I'm trying to get used to these characters, and they all have different abilities and different weapons and what they can do, and it's how are you supposed to get used to this stuff? I eventually just started writing down okay, in the damage area I like these 2 characters, and in the tank area I like Bastion, and so on and so on. But it's just overload, and the fact they're adding more characters in eventually, or taking ones out and adding more new ones in, it's wow, they're going for it.
Well, there's people that have to like the fact that there's this many characters, or they would have lessened the amount, right?
I think a lot of Overwatch is just from that Titan thing that they aborted, so I think a lot of it's from that. But I kept thinking this Team Fortress 2, it's a very clear analog of Team Fortress 2, but TF2's had the same 9 characters for 11 years, or 9 years, or whatever. It's not like they added new ones in. Right. And I think the 9 characters in Team Fortress 2 are better balanced than any Overwatch team, or any Overwatch characters. Almost by a long shot. But the flip side is, if you get in a good team, it's just a fun game to play. If you want a team-based shooter, it's good for that, and it isn't like Team Fortress 2 was on consoles in any meaningful way. It was on 360 and PS3 for a little while, but I can't imagine that's still going on.
Yeah.
And and other stuff like that, like Monday Night Combat failed, and Evolve kind of bombed. So well, it's a different thing, but you get my point. But
right.
Yeah, it's a very fun, but I think ultimately shallow experience, which is weird to say. Cause on the surface, it's more. It seems more deep than Team Fortress 2, but Team Fortress 2 just has more stuff to it. Ultimately, the different weapons and just stuff like that. So it's kind of strange. I didn't mind it, and I had fun. It was good to get the kill of the match or whatever. I killed one team. I killed every player on one team within 10 seconds. It was great. But it's all right. I was playing basically the cold version of a pyro in the game. It's like, gee, I wonder where they got this from.
So how is Bioshock Collection compared to the originals?
It's fine. I'm playing on PS4. I've had a little weird audio stuttering, like here and there, like audio logs, or like the Atlas narration not quite kicking in when it should. And I had a weird bug where I put it into sleep mode, like just from the game, and I went back into the game like after like the night, and the game was completely locked up, and that was weird. I never had a game do that before. But it's still Bioshock. Like that game still holds up. I don't know how far I'm going to finish it. Like I'm about a third of the way through Bioshock 1 right now. I doubt I'm going to finish any of those because, I know what happens. Like I don't need to really finish them.
Right.
But it looks great. Like I mean, it looks aged, obviously, but that game was more a matter of like artistic license or like creative vision rather than like technical prowess. So like the art holds up.
Yeah, I mean, have you gotten to listen to like the director commentary or anything?
Yeah, that's one thing I don't like is it's not a commentary. It's a series of interviews with Jeff Keighley. It's like Ken Levine and like some artist guy, I forget his name. And it literally is like a 10-minute clip of Jeff Keighley interviewing these two guys. And you have to find them in the environment, and they're not exactly they're pretty hidden in the world. And it's just them interviewing like each other, or Keighley interviewing Levine and the other guy. And it's like, I mean, this is fine, but why wasn't this just unlocked from the game, like from the get-go? Or why didn't they do this like other commentaries, like where you could play the game as they're talking about stuff, or have it be environmental triggers?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Like, and especially if it's not even anything like you're saying, it's not anything special.
Yeah,
So
like the first one was talking about like how like that the game couldn't get made if they made like a room, like a few like basic test rooms just to show off the technology, and no one wanted it. And how they were originally going to do like a SWAT 5 versus zombies, which would have been funny in retrospect, or how it was going to be in a space station and stuff like that. But it's like, I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong, but this isn't a commentary. It's just like a documentary split into 10 parts and scattered through the levels.
sounds like they just wanted to give you something extra to.
Yeah, which is fine. Like, I'm not complaining that much. Like, I think the content's good. I just hate the delivery mechanism. I did check that stuff's not in there for Bioshock 2. I doubt it's in there it may be in there for Infinite, I don't know. But the game is also on 2 discs, which I find pretty interesting.
Well, I mean, it is 3 games.
Yeah, but like I told you online, like they've done collections like that before. Like Uncharted was on 3 games, and that's arguably bigger. I mean,
did it have all the DLC too?
Well, there was no DLC for Uncharted.
Right.
But I mean, even the DLC for like Bioshock's not that big.
Who knows?
I mean, those were also Blu-rays, for God's sakes. I mean,
weird.
But yeah, I'm like Bioshock 1's fun. I just got the camera, like the research camera, so that's by not even a third, maybe like a quarter of the way through the game. Yeah, it's kind of still hard. Like it's not a hard game necessarily, but like fighting big daddies in the beginning is like super tough if you don't know what you're doing right. I still like my review is probably essentially boiled down to Bioshock 2 is still the best, then 1, then Infinite. Like I actually want to. I won't spend as much time with 2 because I know what it is, but I'll probably want to spend more time with Infinite just so I can see if what I'm missing from this game, because people do like it, but
right.
It's like I like the art style and like the world, but the actual shooting is just garbage.
Yeah, I mean, that's really weird because I remember that I think that was the first year that we kind of brought back the Game of the Year awards where we do the top 10, and I remember that being one of the games that like was up there really high. And you were one of the ones that was like, man, I just don't get what the big deal is with this. I'm not enjoying it compared to the other Bioshocks. So
I like the like crow plasmid in that game, like infinite, like that's kind of cool. That's literally it. Like the other plasmids are just taken from Bioshock. I thought the sky rail was really bad. Like it moved too fast for you to aim correctly, and it auto aims for you, but it never quite feels like correct.
okay.
You can't die, because Elizabeth just brings you back.
Right.
And there's no player choice in that game.
So it's basically like you're just playing to see how the story goes.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I liked about like Bioshock 1 and 2, and they are very, I mean, it's very like binary system of like kill the little sisters or save them. It's like, gee, tough choice. But at least it's something. Like the only choice in Bioshock Infinite I really remember is, do you want to give Elizabeth like the necklace with the cage on it or the bird? And it's like that is not exactly a deep and meaningful choice.
No, it's not at all.
But I'll play Bioshock Infinite. I actually do want to see the start, like the DLC. I didn't play that on PC. I actually just got it like a month ago because it was on sale finally. Because I heard that's actually pretty solid and does wrap up like Bioshock Infinite pretty well. But yeah, $60 for 3 Bioshock games is a good price. And apparently the PC version of like Bioshock 1 and 2 are pretty rough.
Well, that's always sad to hear that PC version has some issue. Seems like we cannot escape it for this. Or, I mean, for most any game that comes out.
Yeah, it's funny because like a few years ago, like PC ports were great, and now they're just kind of trash. And it's like, what happened?
Seems so weird.
I'm real curious what's going to happen with that Quantum Break Steam version. Like, how well that's going to run.
Yeah, because they already delayed it once. So, wouldn't be surprised.
I guess I would ask for it, but I know it's probably not going to run well on my computer at all. Like, so it kind of defeats the purpose. But
yeah, I'm going to have to be, like, taking it back and...
What am I going to do? Write the publisher and go, I couldn't get it to run. Oh, well. That's actually what I'm doing right now with Redout, because I can't win a race without cheating. So I'm writing like 1,000-word like impressions column because I'm just like I can't beat this game, or I can't even beat a race. What am I supposed to do?
Man, that sucks.
And I'm not alone. Like it's weird. The community split half and half of like people who like think the game is too easy, which is baffling to me. Right. And then people who are just like, I can't beat the second race. And
have they addressed the fact that exists, or
they put out like a patch that said like we fixed some AI problems, but I played it again and no, they didn't. What's really funny though is I'm friends with a guy on Twitter, named Nick Chester. He's the PR
I know who that is.
Yeah, he's PR manager for Epic, and we were talking about the game, and he was like, I wish there was more HUD elements. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, oh, I can't even see where I'm supposed to, like, where I am in the race, like where my place is compared to the other racers. And I took a screenshot of my game, and I'm like, isn't it at the top right corner? Like, where it says, like, 1 out of 6 or 4 out of 6 or whatever? And he was like, I don't have that. And I was like, that's an issue. Like, I want him to get back to me. I want him to take a screenshot of what he sees, so I can, like, put in this column and go, like, there's something a little off about this game.
That's pretty bad when you have one person has something and another person doesn't have it. I mean,
I don't know what he's doing. If he's playing on VR, I doubt it. But I was just like, he was like, there's no place to see your position. I'm like, yeah, there is. And he's like, not on my game. And it's like, uh-oh.
No bueno.
So, I mean, I still like the game. Like, if my computer could run it better, I'd really like it. Or if I can play it better, that's a real big thing. But, yeah, it's a bummer for me.
Well, it always sucks when you're not at least it's a review copy and not a well I paid for this and now I played
Yeah.
it past the amount of time and I can't take it back thing. But
Well, if it was like that, I probably would have taken it back earlier, because running the game, I can't run that game well with Chrome running. Like, it eats up too much memory. So I have to, like, completely quit out of Chrome for the game to even run at half speed correctly.
gotta love it. Well, I mean, they they want you to play their game, so just be totally focused, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, there's still 2 days of Tokyo Game Show, so I don't know if there's any announcements that they have yet to discuss between these 2 days that are left. I know the conference has already happened or whatever, so if anything, we'll probably get some gameplay stuff.
Yeah, I doubt it. TGS isn't where people announce stuff anymore to begin with.
Yeah, at one point it was one of the bigger game shows, but as time's gone on, it's kind of
That's when Japan is still making games.
right. Uh, the you got like Capcom every now and again, and then of course Nintendo, and when Sony can get a game out because most of them get delayed or something. Which, speaking of one of those games, Last Guardian delayed again to December 9th now.
Do you want to take odds if it's actually going to hit this year or not?
At that point, you might as well just have it go into January. Because, like, usually by the time you get to that period is when everybody's already starting to put all of their, like, Game of the Year stuff together and all that. So, you're not going to get consideration for it. And you're not going to get a lot of people that are probably going to play it. I mean, I think Far Cry is one of those rare exceptions, but like, it's also not this game that just appeals to everybody. So, I think if I were them, I'd wait till the end of January or something and make it be one of those first games of the year that everybody, when there's not that many games out there that you play.
You want to hear something really depressing? Besides The Last Guardian and Gravity Rush 2, there are no like PS4 exclusive games.
For the rest of the year?
Yeah, for holiday at least.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts got pushed back. So that's January 9th. They're January 28th now. So they're going into that slot of trying to get you to be excited when the end of January comes. So they were, I think, like December 17th or something like that. So that would have been another PlayStation 4 exclusive. So they lost one there. And I really don't know how many people are just clamoring for Gravity Rush 2 either. So you're kind of talking about two more niche-ish titles there.
I mean, it looks cool, but yeah, I agree. Like, I don't think it's going to be like a system seller by any means, or they're going to go like, what the hell is this game?
Right.
Like, Sony needs like first-party titles, and they need them today. Like, they need a good Resistance, or a good Killzone, or a good Gran Turismo, or make a better version of that finally, or something like a fun version. And they need 10 games like this year or this season, and they don't have any of them.
Yeah, but they kind of seemingly, since they have all the AAA titles kind of taken care of, as far as they get the big stuff from Call of Duty. They're the premier system right now, so.
Yeah, but like if I if I had the money now and I didn't have a PS4, I actually probably would lean more towards the Xbox One S, just because Microsoft has a much better first party lineup. Like, this holiday they have
Forza
what is it?
Horizon.
Well,
3.
Forza Horizon, but I was going to say, what's the roadie run game? Gears of War 4. That's it.
Yes.
I mean, they have Recore, which sucks, but they still have it. They just have more first-party titles.
So Recore officially sucks on everything?
On PC, it seems okay. On a technical level, it seems okay, but it still runs into the end of the game sucks because he'll still have to hunt down the prismatic cores over and over. And it's like, this isn't fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of been like that sometimes where Microsoft sort of has the more in bulk exclusives, but you know when you get one from Sony, it's going to be really good. So
You hope, but I mean, they haven't been knocking out of the park lately either.
No, that's true. I mean, Recore.
I mean, Uncharted 4 did really well, but that was also June, July.
Yeah, after that, I mean, nothing, right? After Uncharted?
Yeah. It's not like they're going to come out with that Crash Bandicoot HD collection tomorrow.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's true. And then, well, you'll get to play with Crash and Skylanders, and then that's sort of it. I mean, I guess they were pinning everything on Last Guardian, then they had to delay it because apparently it's got bugs that they need to hammer out.
Or that Horizon Zero Dawn game, but that's next year.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too far into next year. We'll see if that gets delayed again, because I'm not holding my breath for that to come out on time. It seems like everything has to get delayed 4 or 5 times now, which, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'd rather the game be good and come out good from the beginning than, hey, we got to patch it 5 times before you can actually play it, so.
I'm still waiting for Persona 5. That'll be fun.
Yes, Persona 5. Gonna be freaking awesome. That being said, yeah, I mean, from what I've seen of Tokyo Game Show, almost everything that's announced is there's new Pokemon, UB characters, and there's a new Digimon game coming. There's a new Naruto 4 coming. I've not seen anything that just makes me go, all right. I will say the Koei Tecmo Misou Stars or whatever, that was kind of out of nowhere.
Is that the one where they're just throwing in every character into one game?
Yeah, it's got Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden and freaking Altair. Okay. Yeah, and I'm guessing Dynasty Warriors people and tweaking in and
all of those hot Dynasty Warriors characters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the ones you can just distinguish there. It is what I had to commend them for at least coming out with something different. But somehow it'll probably wind up just like another Dynasty Warriors game. Just, hey, you get to play as Ryu instead.
Great. Already can't wait till I review it.
You probably get stuck with that game.
No, because he tried to stick me with the Romance of the Three Kingdoms games on Steam, and I was like, nope. Find some other sap.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever did those. It's like, who really just wants to volunteer for Romance of the Three Kingdoms? So, yeah, and then other delays here is South Park Fractured But Whole. So that was coming out December 6th. That's now not coming out until 2017, quarter 1. So, that sucks. I was really looking forward to playing that game at the end of December.
Yeah. It would have been a fun game, but I mean, if they need more time, it's fine, because I give them a pass because like the last game was so great, but Obsidian's also not making this one, so who knows?
Yeah, I mean, also it's a turn-based game. They don't necessarily, I think, have to do a whole lot there. So it's all about. I just want them to make sure the game is good. And they had lots of delays before, and the game was great last time. So I
Yeah.
guess you got to give them the benefit of the doubt there. I think there was one more game that Bloodstain Ritual. The night's now delayed till 2018. Jeez,
Yep.
not even 2017, 2018.
Well, it was originally due out in 2017, so
Yeah, but it's like, what, March? And now you're going to go in all the way to the other year? Jeez.
I give them a pass also for this one because I don't want another Mighty Number 9 situation.
Let's just hope that that's the last time.
I would rather the game get delayed for a while, and like Iga made like the comment like I need to get more developers, and it's not meeting my current level of like detail or what I want, like polish or whatever. And it's like that's fine. I mean, he knows what he's doing first off, and if they put out like another trailer, like not another trailer, another demo, that'd be good. Because I want to play more of it, but it is what it is. Like it's not an egregious like delay for me personally. It's not like the game will be out in 2023. It's like if that was the case, I would be demanding my money back.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but a lot can happen from then till now. So
it's no Final Fantasy 15.
Very true. But we shall see.
I think I saw. Go on.
I mean, I don't think anybody thought Final Fantasy 15 was going to get delayed for 10 years. So
I think I saw a post. I think it was on Reddit or like Photo Image or something like that. But it was a guy with a pre-order slip for Final Fantasy Versus 13.
Wow.
For like 2006 or whatever from GameStop, and he just like, is GameStop still gonna like honor this?
Had he paid for the entire game?
Yeah, he did. Like $60. And it's like, all right.
I wonder how they're gonna do that. Like, I guess they would just transfer the money from that to Final Fantasy 15, but that's crazy if they still had that in their system.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, he reserved that 10 years ago almost. Jeez. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, I was surprised that there's not more people like that just reserved it and forgot about it or whatever.
Oh yeah. Sure there is. I mean, they just don't have documentation of it anymore, so.
Speaking of, the PS4 Slim Bundle for Final Fantasy 15, and there is a new trailer out for that, by the way. It's one of the TGS things. It includes a PS4 Slim, Final Fantasy 15. It has obviously a Final Fantasy 15 themed PS4 and controller, and you get the Kingsglaive movie along with it. So pretty decent. I still need to watch that movie, but pretty decent little bundle there. I'm sure it still costs $2.99 or.
I thought it was like $3.99 or probably like $3.99 or like $3.50 maybe because.
Oh, that makes sense because you're still paying for the game.
Yeah, getting the game and the movie, so that's.
Well, Chris Metzen announced his retirement. Of course, he's been with Blizzard since 1994, working on Justice League Task Force for the SNES, and then of course he's been the writer of Warcraft 2, StarCraft, and Diablo. And this is one of the big guy from Blizzard again leaving the company. Sounds like that's been happening a lot if you factor them kind of all in together.
Yeah, he was a big guy over there, but like they're not making story-based games that much anymore. Right. Like there's not that much story in Overwatch. Like WoW has a story for sure, but he's been off WoW for quite a while.
Right, yeah, there was no need for him to be on WoW for.
Because
I think the
oh, go on.
no, the last thing I saw him on, I think, was when they were doing that thing for a while where they had the motorcycles or whatever they were making for WoW, and they had
Yeah,
this show that they were doing with it with.
American Chopper or whatever the hell it was
Yeah,
called. Yeah, he did that. He was over on the Titan team for like a long time before that bombed out. So, I mean, once that fizzled, and they became Overwatch, and there's not any story in Overwatch. And
right.
it's not like they're announcing like a Diablo 4 or StarCraft 3 or anything else. It's like, what is he really doing?
Did he
I just
say that he was gonna go do anything else with?
he actually said
Okay.
retirement, so he may just be getting out of games completely. I mean, that'd be fine. The one hope I have is he does voice some characters in WoW, like namely Thrall. So I hope if they bring that character back, like they get him back in to do the voice work, because he actually does a pretty good job in that character.
Yeah, I mean, he has that voice, and it makes that character. And I mean, I only really know a lot of it from just obviously those cutscene videos and Hearthstone, but of
That's all you
course.
need.
Well, I mean, if for some reason you were one of the lucky people that got to download Warcraft Adventures, the Lord of the Clan full game that got leaked online, you can get a lot of Thrall.
Actually,
Uh,
he's not in it.
I thought he's one of the main characters.
Thrall is, but they got a different voice actor for him.
Oh, he's okay. Okay.
They got Clancy Brown, who's awesome.
Well, hey, you still get to experience Thrall, the character, like his story and everything, and you can read the story of the game if you want to. It's a book called Lord of the Clan, but
I got the
uh,
game.
you have it? No, you need to send it to me. Uh, I watched a gameplay video, like 10 minutes of this, and it looks awesome. Like, I can understand that they felt it was inferior to Curse of Monkey Island or whatever, but like, why the hell would you not have released this? This looks freaking great.
Because I think they're perfectionists. Like,
Right.
look at most of their games. Like, they've always had a pretty high level of quality, and it just like also that was a time when adventure gaming was done.
Yeah, like it was like holding on by a thread, and like Grim Fandango, I think, was also coming out at the time. So
Yeah, I mean that game's looked critically now like highly revered, but when that game came out, it bombed pretty bad,
right.
and like it wasn't. You can bitch about Telltale now, but like Telltale was the only ones keeping adventure gaming alive, and still kind of is. Like Life is Strange is cool, but if Telltale didn't exist, Life is Strange wouldn't exist either.
Yeah, that's very true. Telltale's kind of revitalized that whole thing of having adventure games. And yeah, there's sort of aside from Life is Strange, and I think, Gone Home to a certain extent, and
But yeah,
some.
there are others now cropping up. But I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
Telltale's still like a one team behemoth that's just basically continues to add more things to their lineup, and they even had the Mr. Robot that was only on mobile.
yeah.
So, I mean, that lets you know right there how big they've gotten, where they've gotten to the point where there's certain ones they're not even going to release on console. So but that one was made for like mobile. I think it was like there's timed pieces in there, and like it makes your phone go crazy. So, uh, yeah, I mean, it's I still say you should check out a video of this because it looks really good, and like the animation sequences are really well done, and just like a part of the gameplay that I saw where you're Thrall and you're trying to get out of the jail that you're in, and you have to figure out how to make the guard basically fall down, and just, I mean, it's late 90s animation, but it's still pretty darn good. So yeah, I mean, also if you're running a really high computer, it's also going to be hard to run on because, it's a game for 1998. So
Yeah. But I'll send it to you if you want it.
sweet. But yeah, so, more more stuff from Warcraft from there. I did, obviously I used my PS4 because I have PS View, so I have this patch, and I do think that the quick menu is kind of cool. It kind of gives you everything on one panel on the left side. So I think that's pretty useful instead of, oh, well, now I have to go search through a bunch of menus. Like, everything that you're kind of doing with the PS4 at that moment is sort of there, and you can decide, if you need to mess with any of that stuff right then. Have you gotten to use it, or?
Yeah, well, I've been playing Bioshock because I've seen it. I like the new color of the menu. Like, it's not black, it's not white. Aside from that, I haven't noticed anything different. Like, there's like a lot of little changes, but it's like, well, you can group stuff into, you can group your library together, and it's like, all right, it wasn't that bad to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of weird that they changed that much in there, but, well, whatever works for them. I do like that little quick menu thing. I think that's pretty cool. The Assassin's Creed... Go ahead.
There was a funny glitch on PSN about an hour ago where you could get FIFA 17, the Super Deluxe Edition, for free.
What? Wow.
I did it. I don't know if they'll honor it or not, but it was like a pre-order. And they had two versions for sale. One was $100 and one was $0. So I bought the $0 one.
Nice.
They just fixed it like a half hour ago, but it's pretty funny.
You should have been messaging me. What's up? No.
You were away, and dude, it's FIFA.
It's like, FIFA. Like, I play soccer. I'm a soccer person. But
you can borrow it from my account then. I'll never play it.
Sweet. Yeah, that's, if they honor that, that's pretty amazing.
Well, they honored that one. They honored that God of War thing I told you about like 6 months ago or 8 months ago or whatever. That was funny.
But I think that's because that wasn't a pre-order though. It was already there. And
yeah.
And I already had downloaded it. So what were they gonna do? I think this is like, they can't. I don't know how they do that with pre-orders, if they can actually go back and.
Oh, they'll probably just cancel all of them or something. But it's just funny.
That is pretty funny. I mean, because FIFA's a huge seller, and I mean, at the end of the day, it probably won't affect them that much, depending on how many people actually found out about it and did it. But it is what it is for them. I mean, the Assassin's Creed bundle that we've talked about, I think like about 3 or 4 times, is officially announced. November 17th, that we talked about last time, being the release date. Of course, it does include AC2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, and all the single-player DLC. None of the multiplayer DLC or the modes will be included. So if you're a big fan of the multiplayer stuff, you're kind of SOL on that one. But hey, you get your single-player stuff.
Well, there's still Assassin's Creed 4, like that's still up. But the multiplayer was actually pretty cool in Brotherhood and Revelations. So it's kind of a shame, but they've been doing this a lot where they strip out the multiplayer modes for games, or collect these collections. Like Uncharted 2, that Uncharted collection is missing it, for example. So.
Yes. I mean, I did hear from when I went to GameStop that they were going to start, I think this year they're going to take down the online servers for PS3 and 360. So.
I could see PS3, but I think 360 is like this. They still have too many people on that thing. Probably. I mean,
I'd agree. I mean, are they going to take it all down? Like, we can't even use like the video stuff on it? It would. Or is it just for games they would be taking?
I would think just games, because probably Netflix is probably independent, or like Hulu or whatever. But who knows? I mean, they could, but also I think a lot of that stuff is still it's legacy stuff, but it's still tied into like what they're doing now, like because like your gamer tag carries over and stuff like that. So they may not be able to, or it may be a challenge for them to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's not like when they turned off Xbox Live on the original Xbox. I mean, no one was using it in the first place, and it wasn't built into the system.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do this because honestly, I mean, because for me, I use it as a media device in one of the rooms. So my daughter watches Netflix and YouTube on it all the time. So I mean, I have a PS3 also, but if they both go down, that sucks because then I have to
By Roku.
either buy a Roku or I have to put the PS4 in the other room. So, which makes it difficult for when I want to play something or need to play something for a review. I have to either take it in the room or I have to, or either actually it'd probably be I have to take the Xbox One in the other room, and yeah. So that being said, I was speaking about PS View earlier. They do have Showtime on PS View already, but with the Westworld show coming, they are going to have HBO and Cinemax on PS View, and you can get the HBO Now app by itself as well for $15, or I guess it would be the Cinemax Now app on your PS4 or PS3. So, see, the fact that they're releasing apps still makes me think that it would only be for the games. Like, because why would you be releasing apps if you know you're going to take down the servers in some point next year?
But
Go ahead.
Like I said, I could see him taking it on PS3, but I think Xbox is also a little too decentralized for them to maybe do it. I mean, they could just take on matchmaking for sure, but I still think like Black Ops and Halo, like those are big games on that console. Like that would tick off a lot of people.
Oh, certainly. It's going to be interesting to see what they do, especially with Xbox having the backwards compatibility. Are they going to try to rush all that and see how many more of these games they can make backwards compatible so that they can kind of connect over to your Xbox One, all that kind of stuff. And you're going to take down servers, but you're still offering free games that are supposed to play with your Xbox 360 and you're supposed to have forever. So, and some of these actually are games that sort of require like online stuff. So, yeah, I mean, this is one of those things that they have to think about that I'm sure that's kind of in the back of the mind when you release another system. Like, when is it time to call it quits on the old one? There was a thing that I saw from Shuhei Yoshida. He was talking about the No Man's Sky debacle, and he says, well, No Man's Sky didn't have great PR. He was promising stuff from day one. He says, I get some of the criticism because he's promising stuff from day one that is not there in the game. It wasn't a great PR strategy because he didn't have a PR person helping him. In the end, he is an indie developer. Well, I mean,
it's not like you stepped up to the plate and helped
him.
Like,
exactly.
It's not like you sent him a PR guy and said, here, make use of him. Like, you probably okayed everything he did or, at least knew about it. So, what are you complaining about?
Like, I don't understand that either. Like, why couldn't Sony have sent a PR person to explain to him how to deal with this?
It's not like Sony does not have a lack of PR people hanging around or,
Right. I mean, you have like so many different offices. You could send one from anywhere to go, hey, let's kind of kill this bad press you're getting so we can stop having to give refunds and everything else. And, it's sometimes I wonder what these figureheads that come out and talk about stuff, and you could have easily sort of resolved some of the issues too, and you didn't. So at the end of the day, whose fault is that?
I think like they're passing the buck a little with that game, like obviously, but yeah, it's a shame. Like I still like that game. Like I don't, a lot of people don't, but who cares?
Are you gonna come back for building stuff?
No, because that doesn't interest me in any game really.
I remember in what was it, WoW? Like the big thing with the last expansion was, hey, you have a garrison now. I'm like, I do not care.
I mean, it was apparently I played it. I didn't got into it like too late, but it was like a fantastic way to make money in that game. Like if you had other like max level characters, you could be making like million of gold, like a million gold every week. And it's what
Wow.
it's actually what broke that game partially. It's like the economy just got too crazy. It's like
What,
yeah,
people
no,
were just making money with their
yeah,
stuff.
like they actually, I think it was like 2 months before the like Legion came out, or like a month ago, like a month before, but they took out all the gold rewards for the garrisons because it was just too much.
Did they keep the garrisons with the new
No,
expansion?
they have the class halls now, but they're not really the same thing.
I guess they wanted to nuke that before it got even worse.
They did. Like, there's so much weird stuff. If you followed WoW for like over the years, like it's just crazy how much they've changed or just jettisoned from that game completely.
I mean, the complaint I always hear is, oh, they made it so much easier for all the new people, and it kind of kills the vibe for people that have been playing for a long time or whatever. Do you kind of feel like that it's so streamlined now that it doesn't feel the same?
Yes, I would say completely, but also like the game before was a little too archaic for like casual people. It still is pretty weird in spots. Like I have to be like a certain like item level to get into the raids or like to get into the heroic dungeons, but I don't really know how to raise it. Like,
Right.
and there's not a good way to explain it. Or yeah, it's just like as much as they've streamlined like talent trees and spells and stuff like that, it's still just overwhelming in spots.
Yeah, and as they keep adding expansions, it's gonna get more.
Like they added one of the expansions. I think it might have been even the first one. They added inscription, or that was the second one. They added inscription as like a new profession. Like so you could like add glyphs to spells to like change them and alter them, stuff like that. And that's completely gone. Like in Legion, like they still have it, but I don't know what you do with it now because you don't attach glyphs to spells anymore. So I'm just like, what do those people do?
It's like, well, you just lost your job, man.
Yeah, like jewel crafting was another like profession they added. Like that's almost completely gone. I'm an enchanter. I can only do like 4 things now because you can't enchant armor or weapons anymore. So it's like, all right, I guess I'm done.
Like, it's like, well, either get a new character or you are fucked.
Yeah.
Just, Sony actually, we talked about, but that they weren't going to have mods for PS4, and apparently now Sony has blocked the mods for Fallout 4 and Skyrim. Just that seems a bit weird.
It is, but also look at last generation, the PS3, how it got busted open because of security problems. You can kind of see where they might be coming from. I honestly think mods on consoles are weird to begin with. Like, I can see the appeal for sure, but you can't create mods on the console. Like, you're just hoping that whatever mod you like from the PC is going to get transfer over, and probably a lot of them aren't because they break the game in different ways, or they add like new graphics options or like new like geometry and stuff like that. So I'm not quite sure what the point is.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not gonna add so they're not adding like all the mods, they're just adding.
No,
certain-
they're like Bethesda's curating it. That's the thing. So like you can't add like the nude mod or anything like that, or whatever filthy thing we're gonna get into in Fallout 4.
Well, they probably. I think there's. Well,
You can't.
there's probably licensing issues that happen with that, and also just certain things like. Wouldn't that have to be a certain standard?
You can't add the Thomas the Tank Engine as a Deathclaw mod in Fallout 4 on Xbox One, I assume. Or when Skyrim comes out, you're gonna be able to add that Macho Man as a dragon mod.
That's sad.
And really, without that mod, what's the point of playing that game?
You're so right about that. That would have been awesome if they did it, but
I mean, mods are cool. Don't get me wrong, but
right.
I think people that like PC are the place for mods because it's a lot more decentralized and you can alter the game however you want.
Right. Well, yeah, once you put them on console, I think you do have to curate them because you get certain ones that are either they're bad or again creates licensing problems or any kind of like parental issues like the nude mod probably would if it's just out there for anybody to grab. So
Yeah,
I can understand that.
I saw a story that like Dead or Alive Extreme is coming to like PC or Steam, and I'm just like, how many seconds until that game gets a nude mod? Like 24?
I don't think they care.
No, I don't think they care, but I'm just like, internet perverts will do what perverts will do, and within seconds of that game coming out, instant like nude mod, and it's like, yeah.
Well, I mean, wouldn't they have those already for Dead or Alive 5?
Yeah, but they're not playing volleyball in that one.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want a nude mod, you want a nude mod. You don't really care what they're necessarily doing. So I just I think it's like if you're gonna buy that game to have they're pretty much already there anyway. Like, you really buying that game for that? I mean, just God, what a waste of money, honestly.
Yeah.
But like you said, people are gonna do what people are gonna do. Nothing will surprise me hardly anymore. Just what people will decide to do with things like that. This really is not shocking news at all here. Bobby Kotick says that there's always going to be Call of Duty games.
It's
okay.
It's like Bioshock Infinite. There will always be a Lighthouse. There will always be a Call of Duty game.
I mean, at some point, I think that the game would die out, but you never know. There's still people playing Madden, and
well, the thing with Madden is it arguably never changes, but that's the point. Like, it's also simulating a real game. I mean, it only gets better. Like, Call of Duty games vary in quality from year to year. And where does that series keep going?
yeah, eventually you're going to run out of periods of war that you haven't...
Here's the War of 1812. It's like, alright, let me spend 5 minutes reloading this musket, and then I'll fire it once, and...
They won't, though. It'll just have the it'll just have the like not even the real guns or whatever because they have to make sure it's still fast so you can play multiplayer.
They'll be like the laser muskets from Fallout 4.
It's
But
like, screw being historically correct.
it's depressing because you already see the running Call of Duty into the ground. Like, the last 3 games didn't hit well. Like, Advanced Warfare is a good game, don't get me wrong, but that didn't sell the way they wanted it to, and they're just getting more and more desperate with each game, it seems like.
Yeah, like, once you go into space,
Like, I'll put it to you this way. If Infinite Warfare did not have Call of Duty 4 attached to it, like that Modern Warfare remastered, no one would care about that game.
right.
And it's like, that's telling you something. Like, this franchise fatigue here, like, give it a year. Give it, people aren't going to forget the series. It's not like Battlefield is going to, like, take over the throne or anything. Like, no one gives a shit about that game compared to Call of Duty. It's like, give every studio a year, like, come up with some good ideas or, do whatever. But you don't want to have, like, another Tony Hawk franchise, like, situation in their hands or Guitar Hero,
Yeah, it's just, and I just remember, like, when when those two first came back, like, everybody was talking about, oh, well, the Guitar Hero people got it right or whatever, and I don't even hear a peep about that anymore. I think they stopped releasing DLC content for it already.
Well, I mean, Guitar Hero bombed, but at least it, like, did critically pretty well. Like, I guess more you can say for Rock Band 4.
Well, but they're releasing, the expansion, and they're going to add the online multiplayer finally and everything, and they're still adding DLCs, so...
Yeah, but they're also independent, so that's why.
Right. But, I mean, like, Activision makes this big deal about bringing them back, and then you're just going to kind of have it die again, It's, well, I mean, that's Activision. They do what they can do that when they have a Call of Duty.
When they have all the money.
Right, yeah. When you have all the money, you can afford to do stuff like that. I think we kind of just move on over to the... I did mention that, there was Monster Hunter stuff announced. Monster Hunter Stories officially has a Japanese release date, which is sort of a RPG version of Monster Hunter with still Monster Hunter stuff in it. It looks really cool. The style was sort of more Dragon Questy, if I can relate it to something. It has it has cutscenes, it has a story, so maybe a good entry point to people that, like, you always want to play Monster Hunter, but you go, oh man, this is too much. So now you have an entry point.
And they're making a Monster Hunter movie.
Yeah, they're making a Monster Hunter movie. It's being made in Hollywood somewhere. Now, they don't mention if it's going to be live action or CGI or whatever this is, but yeah.
I'm betting claymation. And
the
it'll just
90s
be
when that was a thing.
It'll just be a 2-hour-long monster hunt. No characterization, nothing. Just the hunter battling this monster for 2 hours, and that's it. And then at the end, he crafts like a new pair of leg plates out of the beast's carcass, and that's it.
They did have some really nice looking amiibo for it though, so there you go. You can get your Monster Hunter amiibo, and they have a new Resident Evil CGI movie, which didn't they make like 2 of those?
Yeah,
and
they need to stop.
Yes, they were okay. Not anything to like. I think I watched one. I was just kind of like, okay.
I watched the first one, the plane one.
Right.
I think that was Degeneration. That was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Ugh. Like, just look, you can't even get the live action movies right anymore. Just those things died a death a long time ago. Just stop.
They didn't get those right to begin with. Not even anymore. Like,
I like the second one.
those
The
things started off.
Apocalypse or whatever.
Second one was maybe Apocalypse. I don't know.
That was the one that had like Jill.
Yeah, well, I know.
And
Like those goddamn movies, like they're
all
so
run
bad.
together, huh?
Yeah. Did you see the ever see the Red Letter Media review of those movies?
No.
It's great. Like I think they watched I think the four of them like in one day
God.
on DVD, and the fourth one is great. It might be the third one, but I think it's the third one. The third one's great. They literally start busting out into laughter like right at the end. Like it's hysterical. Because it's just such a campy movie, and like low budget and full of like plot holes and movie mistakes.
Well, that's not a surprise. I mean,
That's
there
the
was
Paul.
plot holes in all of them.
That's the Paul. What is it? Paul W.S. Anderson or whatever the hell his name is.
Yes. Yeah, and
Yep.
then they're married now, right? Him and...
Yeah, Jovovich. Yeah. He's a guarantee of quality right there.
You know it's gone down the drain when that is happening.
He's made like all of them. He made like...
Yeah.
He made... there's been 6. He's made like 4 or 5 of them.
Why did he get off the one that he didn't make?
Because he wanted to express his creative vision or whatever. And instead he made fucking Death Race.
Yeah, because that was just so much better. Joe Manganiello is going to be Deathstroke. So for either the Justice League movie or perhaps a Batman movie. So yeah, I just know him from, he goes to PWG shows sometimes, the husband of Sofia Vergara, and
I don't know at all.
Chris Benoit movie is getting made. I feel like this thing's been in like on and off for a long time.
Yeah, it had 6 years.
You know, he does have one of those like stories made for a movie. It's a terrible story, but you know, when I remember this happening, I remember saying I will not be surprised at all if we're talking about this being a movie.
What's weird, I had a friend come over like that night because we just wanted to get to hang out. We actually watched Raw that night, and he used to actually write for 401 Mania at the time. I didn't. This was like a decade ago, also, or like whenever it was 2007, right?
Yeah, 2006, 2007. Yeah.
So we were watching it like that night, and you could see the shift in Raw. Like at the beginning, they're like, "Oh, it's a shame or it's a tragedy," and by the end, like you could tell something was going on.
Oh yeah, didn't they find? I thought they found out like right after Raw, or
I think they found out like during the middle of it, and like they had to like quickly like I don't think they told people, but they had to like quickly like downplay certain things.
Yeah, they kind of stopped showing his matches, and I'd have to go rewatch to remember, but geez, that's...
But yeah, it was me and Ryan Latimer at the time, and it was weird.
I bet it was. I remember I was I think I was at a hospital when that happened.
Yeah.
But
Lexi Alexander's directing it, so that's cool. I like her as a director. She's a good friend. So, you know more about this than I would. Who would you cast as that character?
Oh boy, I think I remember when they were going around talking about it before, who they would have, and I can't think of one off my head right now.
Mark Henry.
You know, they could. They could try to have a wrestler, but I think just having an actor is better for this.
You know, this is going to sound weird. I actually kind of think Hugh Jackman might be a good pick.
It wouldn't be too bad, I don't think.
Because you need someone pretty muscular for that role. Also kind of short. Like Hugh Jackman's kind of tall, but you could kind of work around that. But who knows? Get Mickey Rourke.
Get him again. It's like, hey, you were a wrestler once. Let's do it again. John Barrowman still wants to do Torchwood episodes.
I'm here to tell him, please don't.
When were they good?
Season 3. That was a good one.
So they did 2 seasons. It sucked, and you had to. Okay.
No, they did 2 seasons which were very middling. Like the second season got better. It was still kind of cheesy. It did get better though. Season 3 was good, and season 4 is terrible.
Oh God, I remember watching a couple episodes of season 4. I was like, why am I watching this again? No. I think that's gonna do it here for just discussing things. As far as upcoming releases go, you have the Warhammer 40,000 Eternal Crusade, the Psychopath. Go ahead.
They come out with like a new Warhammer game every month now. It seems like.
Seriously. Like between Dawn of War and then this and other stuff, it's like, do you guys just wanna whore out this franchise, or I guess you don't care at this point. The Psychopaths game just came out yesterday. That's basically based off the anime. The second episode of the Batman Telltale game comes out next week, so I'll be getting that. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, the sort of remaster edition of Shin Megami Tensei 4 that sort of has a different story to the first one. That's also on 3DS. So I think if you bought the first one, it's supposed to have enough in it to where you're gonna want to buy this too. So definitely one to check out. The Dragon Quest VII game came out yesterday as well. Recore came out at the sort of the beginning of the week. NBA 2K17 came out yesterday. I'm sure there are tons of people already jumping up and down, wanting to buy or already have bought this game or wanting to buy this.
I'm all over it. Trust me.
Yeah, I know you were telling me you were just waiting for that thing to come out.
Want to play with Michael Jordan?
Well, who doesn't? Who doesn't want to play with Michael Jordan? And an action RPG called Tuho Scarlet Curiosity. It's from the people at Xseed, so it's going to be either good or it's going to be bad. One of the two. There's usually not like a middle with those games. But yeah, so some decent games coming out this week. Anything interest you there in particular? Or
I got Bioshock, so I'm happy.
Yes, of course, Bioshock did come out this week. I thought about the Psychopaths game, but
and those Dead Rising games came out this week, and I read that one of them's kind of broken.
Yeah, I saw that Adam was trying to get people to get those. I was like, nope.
I'll take one. Wants to give me that God Eater code, but I reviewed at least 2 of those games for 4-1 already. It's like I don't have a huge desire to play these old games again, or
Yeah, I heard that. I mean, I'm sure there's people that probably haven't played those that it might be interesting. I just can't imagine if you already played them, you're gonna want to play them again.
I mean, I looked at trailers and they look better for sure, but it's just like that. The timeline, the time constraints in that game is just brutal.
All right. Well, that is going to do it for us on this episode. Enjoy your games, folks, and we'll see you sometime next week.
Later.
Later, everybody.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.